The episode opens with tension already simmering as Callie calls Arty, her tone dripping with mockery and confidence. She taunts Arty, bragging that Ved is hopelessly devoted to her and that no one can separate them. Callie makes it clear that Arty's hope of her stepping aside is foolish. As long as Ved remains by her side, she promises she will never allow either Arty or Anjali to win. Disgusted, Arty fires back, saying she never imagined Callie could stoop this low. Before ending the call, Callie bluntly asks the question that hits hardest: does Arty love Ved? After a brief silence, Arty admits it without hesitation. She loves him deeply. Then she disconnects. Still shaken, Arty immediately contacts nurse Sunita. She recounts what happened at the Rajput mansion during Yuvraj and Mehek's wedding. How Anjali suddenly stood up on her own feet and even called out Aman's name. Hope creeps into her voice as she asks if this could mean recovery is possible. Should they take Anjali to a doctor? Sunita agrees that it's worth trying. But when Arty goes to check on Anjali, panic sets in. The wheelchair is empty. Anjali is nowhere to be seen. Alarmed, Arty calls Padma and asks if Anjali is with her. Padma replies nervously that she should be there but hasn't seen her. Moments later, the mystery clears. Sadhika and Abhay arrive, dragging Anjali along with them and presenting her before Raghav and the rest of the Rajput family, who have come to the neighborhood. Instead of concern, they treat her like an accused criminal. Raghav begins provoking her deliberately, trying to test whether her paralysis is real or an act. He mocks her past, reminding everyone how she once defeated him in court. Holding up a law book, he challenges her to stand and fight again. To prove his point, he orders Abhay and Sadhika to let her go. They drop her. Anjali collapses helplessly onto the ground. Still, the humiliation doesn't stop. Sadhika waves old jewelry in front of her face, reminding her of happier days. The necklace from her pre-engagement ceremony, as if trying to trigger a reaction. Raghav coldly reveals that he has already taken Arty's signatures on documents that will free the powerful families from their troubles. In return, Arty asked only for Ved, but even that wish, he sneers, will never come true. Frustrated by Anjali's silence, Sadhika raises her hand to slap her. Before it can land, Arty steps in and grabs her wrist. Furious, Arty shields Anjali and demands they stop tormenting an ill woman. When Sadhika accuses Anjali of pretending, claiming they saw her stand, Arty refuses to listen. She calls the people of the Chal for support. Within minutes, the colony gathers. Outnumbered, the Rajput family is forced to retreat. Standing protectively beside Anjali, Arty announces that she is keeping a Nurjal wrath for her recovery. With firm faith, she declares that Anjali will rise again and fight for justice herself. Raghav issues a final threat before leaving. Anjali will never make it to court if he has anything to say about it. After they're gone, Arty gently encourages Anjali, whispering that this is the time for a miracle. The Rajput sins are overflowing and justice is close. She begs her to fight her way back from this vegetative state. Just then, Mehek calls, her voice trembling. She asks Arty directly if her mother is truly sick. Arty refuses to answer and simply says that Ma Durga will reveal the truth. The cryptic response unsettles everyone. When Mehek relays the conversation to Yuvraj, fear flashes across his face. Memories of the accident from 21 years ago resurface, the one he caused. If Anjali recovers, everything will come out. Panic turns into resolve. Determined to protect himself at any cost, Yuvraj makes a dark decision. Before Anjali can speak the truth, he will silence her forever. The episode opens inside the Rajput house with Chandraban loudly calling out for Rithi, his voice echoing through the halls. Irritated and impatient, he asks where she has disappeared to. Rithi finally appears and questions why he's making such a scene. Chandraban explains that they cannot waste time. Now that his son is married, it's important to take their new daughter-in-law to the village and formally introduce her to the relatives and elders. Only after completing that responsibility, he says, can they return to Delhi and throw a grand celebration worthy of the Rajput family name. But Rithi reminds him that several wedding rituals are still pending. The Suhagrat, the traditional ring-finding game, and the Paley Rasoy haven't even taken place yet. According to custom, Mehek must complete these ceremonies first. Only then should they travel. Agreeing to finish the traditions, they call Mehek. When she arrives, Rithi gently takes her aside, explaining each ritual and preparing her for what lies ahead. Meanwhile, in another corner of the house, Ved has something far more serious on his mind. He approaches Chandrakant and speaks bluntly. For years, their families have shared business ties. But one of their company vehicles was responsible for the accident that killed Aman and left Anjali paralyzed. He isn't there to accuse. He wants answers. Chandrakant quickly shifts the responsibility, telling Ved to question his uncle instead. But Ved makes it clear he's not backing off. He is searching for the driver who caused that tragedy. Just then, Yuvraj steps in, suspicious and defensive. He demands to know why Ved is digging up an old matter during a wedding celebration. Ved doesn't hesitate. He says he wants to give Arty something priceless, the truth. Everyone manipulated her into signing papers, trapping her. Callie didn't even keep her side of the deal. That's when he realized everything had been staged. Now he refuses to rest until he finds the man who killed Aman and destroyed Anjali's life for the past 21 years. Yuvraj immediately grows uneasy. Panicking, he calls Callie and complains that Ved is creating chaos right after his wedding. Callie asks to speak directly with Ved. When Ved takes the phone, Callie coldly warns him to stop investigating the past. Some truths, she says, are dangerous. If he continues, he will regret it. But Ved doesn't flinch. He reminds her of their agreement. Once the papers were signed, she was supposed to walk out of his life so Arty could stay. That never happened. So now he wants one of two things, either Arty back in his life or the name of Aman's killer. Without waiting for a reply, he disconnects. Turning to Chandrakant, Ved firmly declares he won't drop the matter until justice is served. Yuvraj tries to intimidate him, but Ved stands his ground. He makes it clear he fears no one. For Arty, he can fight anyone. And with that, he walks away. Elsewhere, Rithi notices Yuvraj missing and asks why he hasn't joined the family. He brushes it off and leaves, trying to avoid attention. But trouble finds him anyway. His phone rings. It's ACP Pankaj. The moment Yuvraj hears the name, his expression tightens. Pankaj reminds him that he once handled Aman's murder case before being abruptly removed under suspicious orders. Then he drops a bombshell. Tonight's first night ritual isn't happening. Confused and irritated, Yuvraj asks what nonsense he's talking about. Pankaj calmly replies that Yuvraj is already married. A police complaint has been filed. Stunned, Yuvraj asks who would dare make such a claim. Before he can react, Chandraman walks in. Yuvraj explains that someone has accused him of having another wife. Chandraman grabs the phone and demands answers. Pankaj states clearly, Padma Thakur has filed the complaint through her lawyer. When asked who the lawyer is, Pankaj cryptically says it's someone powerful enough to shake their confidence. He refuses to reveal more. Then comes the warning, send Mehek back home immediately. If any wedding rituals proceed, the entire Thakur family could face arrest. The call ends, leaving everyone shaken. Soon after, the Thakur family rushes to Raghav with the news. Panic spreads as they explain that a legal complaint claims Yuvraj is already married. Raghav immediately orders Chandraman to reconnect the call with Pankaj. Once on the line, Raghav directly questions him. Who is making this accusation? Again, the same answer, Padma. And the lawyer? Pankaj sarcastically replies that he's not a messenger service to hand out details. His only instruction is clear. Bring Mehek home and stop every ritual. Or face the consequences. The threat hangs heavy in the air as the family realizes their celebration may turn into a legal nightmare. The episode starts with Abhay asking Gaurav how he can say something like that. Raghav reminds Gaurav that Mehek has a relationship with him and asks him to keep quiet. Gaurav tells Raghav that he also has a relationship with Anjali, whom they threw out of the house for 21 years, and when she was brought back, they humiliated her. Gaurav says a case should be filed against them for what they did. Gaurav also comments on Chandraman. Chandraman reminds Gaurav that they are the Jamindars of Saban's Isle. Gaurav replies that he is Gaurav Singh Rajput. So, What? Vaibhav asks them to stop arguing. The Rajput family asks Rithi where Mehak is. Rithi says Mehak has gone out in her wedding attire. Mehak reaches the Awasti house and sees Anjali in a wheelchair. Mehak tells Anjali that she married Yuvraj and today is her first night, but at that moment, Yuvraj received a phone call saying their marriage is not valid as he was already married. Mehak asks Anjali if she knows who filed the police complaint. She says it was Padma, the maid, and mocks her. Hearing this, Padma claps and says it looks like Raghav's blood runs in Mehak's veins. Mehak is shocked to see Padma dressed as a bride. Padma says she dressed up as a bride because if a first night happens, it should happen with her. Mehak asks Padma what she wants. Padma replies that just like Anjali wants her rights, she too wants hers. Mehak then receives a call from Raghav. Raghav asks her where she is. Mehak tells him Padma is standing before her dressed as a bride, demanding her rights. As Yuvraj's wife, Raghav speaks to Padma and asks why she is doing this after so many years and who her lawyer is. Padma challenges him to find out and cuts the call. Padma orders Mehak to leave. Mehak argues, asking what Padma will do if she doesn't, and calls for Yuvraj. Yuvraj arrives and confronts Padma, asking if she is worthy of becoming his wife. He threatens to kill her. Arty warns Yuvraj that 500 people are outside the house and they can do anything to him. Arty then asks Yuvraj to leave. She tells Mehak to go back to the Rajput mansion in a car while Yuvraj leaves separately. Yuvraj tells Mehak to stay there for now and adds that tomorrow Raghav will appear in court. Mehak asks who Padma's lawyer is. Anjali then calls Raghav and taunts him, saying his sins are overflowing and he must come to court again. Raghav asks who she is. Anjali reveals she is Padma's lawyer, mocks him, and hangs up. Chandraman asks Raghav who it was. Raghav replies that a woman called, claiming to be Padma's lawyer. Chandraman then asks Raghav to promise that he will go to court and later give Mehak back to her. Raghav makes a promise to Chandraman. Meanwhile, Mehak recalls her marriage with Yuvraj, Padma's words, and Arty, telling her to stay home until Padma's case against Yuvraj is resolved. Mehak removes her jewelry and changes into simple clothes at her house. She breaks down seeing her marital symbols. Yuvraj's sister asks if she is really leaving. Mehak says yes, explaining she has been getting calls from the police station and must prove in court that she is Yuvraj's wife. Yuvraj's sister reassures her, saying her father will help her win the case and tells her a vehicle is waiting outside. Mehak notices the decorated Suhagrat bed and vows that Padma made a mistake by stopping her first night and she won't spare her.